I clutch my boarding pass so tightly my knuckles turn white. 2 tickets, 2 destinations, 2 lives. One visible to my family standing ahead in the security line, the other hidden in my phone-amy real escape. Callie, hurry up. Mom waves impatiently, her diamond tennis bracelet catching the fluorescent airport lights. We'll miss pre-boarding. I swallow hard, watching them, Mom, Dad, Joanna, her husband Mark, and their children Tyler and Megan, me picture-perfect family, who never quite managed to include me in the frame. 25 years of being invisible ends today, I whisper. The words taste strange on my tongue, like a foreign language I'm still learning to speak. My fingers tremble slightly as I adjust my carry-on strap. This moment was years in the making, stretching all the way back to our cramped ranch house in Eugene. I remember the living room with its faded floral wallpaper, every surface a shrine to Joanna's achievements. Mom's curio cabinet off limits to my curious fingers displayed Joanna's trophies like precious artifacts: debate champion, homecoming queen, perfect attendance. While the walls showcased Joanna's school portraits, dance recitals, and sports victories in matching frames. My school photos hung in the hallway, an afterthought. We'll get frames next month, Mom always said. Next month never came. When I was 8, I won first place in the school art contest. My watercolor painting of our backyard oak tree had captured the morning light filtering through autumn leaves. We can't make it, sweetie, Mom told me that morning. Joanna has her regional soccer championship today. I stood alone at the ceremony, watching other parents snap photos and hug their children. My teacher, Mrs. Ramirez, squeezed my shoulder and whispered, "This is beautiful work, Callie." That night, I placed my blue ribbon in an old shoebox under my bed along with other treasures too small for anyone else to notice. The hand-me-downs came in seasonal migrations: Joanna's 2 short jeans, stretched-out sweaters, and faded t-shirts with slogans from bands already out of style. "You're lucky," Mom would say, sorting through Joanna's discards. "These barely have any wear, and we're saving so much money." The money they saved on me materialized elsewhere, like Joanna's vineyard wedding 6 years ago. I stood in an unflattering bridesmaid dress, watching Dad toast to "my beautiful daughter," while Mom dabbed at tears. We took out a loan. Dad confided to Uncle Phil that night, the words slurring after too many glasses of champagne. 36,000, but you only get one chance to give your daughter her dream wedding. I sipped my water and said nothing, thinking of the letter from Oregon State University sitting in my apartment. The one explaining my transfer application was on hold pending financial verification. 2 years later, at Sunday dinner, Mom clasped her hands in excitement. "We have wonderful news." Joanna beamed while Mark squeezed her hand. "We're helping Joanna and Mark with their down payment," Dad announced, his chest puffed with pride. $18,000 toward their future. I nodded and smiled, the appropriate response. 3 days earlier, I'd sat across from Dad in that same dining room, asking for help with tuition. "We can only afford $5,000 a year for you, Callie," he'd said, not quite meeting my eyes. "You're not as naturally gifted as your sister. Maybe consider community college." That night, I filled out an application for the 24-hour diner near campus. My first shift ended at 6 a.m., my uniform smelling of grease and coffee. I stumbled home, showered, and made it to my 8 a.m. class with minutes to spare. The real breaking point came during finals week last year. Joanna showed up at my apartment door, children in tow, designer weekend bags slung over her shoulder. "Thank God you're home," she said, breezing past me. "Mom said you'd watch the kids. Mark surprised me with a spa weekend." I stood in my doorway, textbooks spread across my small table, notes covering every surface. "I have finals this weekend," I said, my voice smaller than I intended. "I can't. I really need to study." Joanna's smile tightened. "It's just 2 days, Callie. Don't be selfish." Before I could respond, Mom called. I still don't know how she times these things so perfectly. "Callie, honey, this is what family does," she said when I tried to explain. Joanna needs a break. Those children take so much energy. You'll understand when you're a mother. The unspoken message hung between us. If you ever become one, if anyone would want you enough. I took the children. My textbooks remained untouched. Now, standing in this airport, watching them move through security, I feel the weight of all those moments, the missed ceremonies, the hand-me-downs, the money that never stretched far enough to cover my dreams. Callie, Dad calls, impatient. What are you waiting for? My phone buzzes with a notification. My real flight to Sedona boards in 40 minutes, from Terminal C, a lifetime away from their Long Beach vacation. I take a deep breath and step forward, already rehearsing the words I'll say when I walk away from their gate. I'm just running to the restroom. I'll meet you at the gate. They won't notice I'm gone until it's too late. This time I chose myself and learned how to finally say no. As I wait for my own flight, the flashbacks in the last couple years suddenly start as a movie tape in my head. I remember back then my thumbtacks pressing into the corkboard above my desk, securing the Crater Lake brochure at perfect eye level. Every morning for 3 months, I've studied those impossible blues while sipping instant coffee from a chipped mug. My first real vacation in years. $290, I whisper, tracing a finger along the shoreline of the deepest lake in America. The number represents 16 extra night shifts at the diner, tips carefully folded and hidden in an old prescription bottle labeled Freedom Fund. Each dollar a small rebellion. My phone chirps. Joanna's name appears on screen and my stomach tightens, the Pavlovian response of 25 years. We're so excited to join you at the lake. Tyler can't wait to see his favorite aunt. I read the message 3 times, each word a stone dropping through my chest. My fingers hover over the keyboard, uncertain what language could possibly translate the cold betrayal washing over me. Before I can respond, a second message appears. Mom said your cabin has a pull-out sofa, perfect for the kids. The room tilts slightly. I sink onto my bed, the springs protesting beneath my weight. My carefully constructed getaway me reward for surviving finals suddenly transforms into another family obligation. My mother answers on the first ring. Callie, I was just about to call you. Did Joanna text about the lake? You gave her my itinerary. My voice sounds unfamiliar, tight with an emotion I rarely allow myself to express. Well, of course I did, honey. When she mentioned they needed a little break, I remembered your trip. It's perfect timing. The practiced cheerfulness in her voice, the tone that expects immediate agreement scratches against my resolve like sandpaper. Mom, I've been planning this trip for months. I saved for it. It's supposed to be just for me. A pause. I can almost see her brows drawing together, the slight purse of her lips that precedes disappointment. Callie Elizabeth, that's the most selfish thing I've ever heard you say. Her voice drops to that quiet register reserved for serious transgressions. Your sister needs this. The children have been absolutely impossible since Mark's promotion. All those dinner parties with his colleagues have them completely off schedule. I press my fingertips hard against my closed eyelids until colors burst behind them. I've been working double shifts on top of finals. I need this too. It's 2 days at a lake, not a spa weekend in Napa. The dismissal stings with familiar precision. Family comes first, always. Family first, the Monroe family motto applied selectively. 3 days later, I stood in my rented cabin, watching Joanna's husband haul their oversized luggage through the narrow doorway. The children race past me, fingers sticky with candy they aren't supposed to have before dinner. This is so quaint, Joanna says, wrinkling her nose at the rustic furnishings I had found charming in the online photos. But the lake makes up for it, I guess. My parents arrived 30 minutes later, bearing grocery bags filled with foods I didn't choose and couldn't afford. We figured we'd cook while we're here, Mom announces, already rearranging the tiny kitchen to her liking. Save you some money. The unspoken assumption hangs in the air. I'll be grateful for their intrusion. That night, Tyler and Megan claim my carefully selected bedroom with the lake view. Joanna shrugs apologetically as she places their stuffed animals on my pillow. They're used to windows. Megan will have nightmares otherwise. I nod and move my backpack to the pull-out sofa, its metal frame digging into my spine all night. Morning brings rain and Joanna's announcement. Mark and I found this amazing day spa in town. We'll be back before dinner. She's gone before I can respond, leaving two restless children and my parents who exchange meaningful glances. Perfect chance for Aunt Callie to bond with the kids, Dad says, reaching for his jacket. Your mother and I thought we'd check out that antique mall we passed. The cabin door closes behind them with finality. 3 hours later, Tyler floods the bathroom. Water seeps beneath the door, soaking my only pair of hiking boots. Megan wails from the kitchen where she spilled orange juice across my trail maps. The property manager eyes the water damage with a frown. That'll be $85 for the plumber. You're lucky it didn't reach the bedroom carpet. I write the check, my hand trembling slightly. Almost 1/3 of my vacation budget is gone, along with my planned hike to the crater rim. When everyone returns Joanna glowing from her massage, parents laden with unnecessary purchases, I say nothing about the bathroom disaster or the maps or the money. I smile and nod as they describe their perfect day. That night, after everyone sleeps, I stand on the tiny porch and stare at the lake I haven't had time to visit. Moonlight catches on the ripples, transforming the water into a shifting mirror. I try to see myself in that reflection, but find only fragments scattered by the current. Hey, you okay out here? The voice belongs to Lisa, my classmate from advanced marketing, who texted after finals to check on me. I turn, surprised by the concern in her voice. Just thinking. She leans against the railing beside me. You don't talk about your family much, but I can tell something's off. It's fine. I'm used to it. Lisa studies my face for a moment. My apartment lease starts next month. The rent is reasonable if split 2 ways. Her offer hangs between use unexpected kindness with no strings attached. When I return to Eugene, more exhausted than before I left for the supposed vacation, Professor Winters stops me after class. Your final project showed remarkable promise, Callie. She taps my paper with her pen. This work deserves your full attention. Are you giving yourself that opportunity? The question follows me home, where I find a voicemail from Mom. Your father and I discussed your tuition assistance. If you insist on moving out, we'll have to reconsider our contribution. Call me back. I don't. Instead, I text Lisa, is that room still available? That night, in my small apartment with its thin walls and temperamental radiator, I slept without interruption for the first time in years. Waiting for the final call at the airport, I recall other misfortune events regarding the family first motto. Back then, I stared at the rows of empty chairs around me, each vacant seat a silent confirmation. The auditorium buzzes with families clutching flower bouquets and balloons, but the 4 chairs I'd reserved just in case remain untouched. My graduation cap feels heavy, the tassel swinging with each turn of my head as I scan the entrance doors one final time. They're not coming, I whisper to myself, the words landing with surprising weight. Fear and relief battle in my chest, neither winning outright. Professor Hartman approaches, her silver bob catching the light. Your thesis defense was brilliant, Callie. The committee's still talking about it. Thank you for pushing me to expand the 3rd section. My voice sounds steadier than I feel. She glances at the empty chairs, her lips tightening slightly. Your family running late? They couldn't make it. The lie comes easily after years of practice. What I don't say, Mom's voicemail arrived at 6:48 this morning. Joanna's washing machine flooded. We have to help with the cleanup before the wood floors warp completely. I'm sure you understand. Professor Hartman squeezes my shoulder. Well, I'm here to cheer embarrassingly loud when they call your name. As she walks away, my phone vibrates. Another text from Joanna. Mom said you're upset about graduation. Don't be so sensitive. You have all the freedom while I'm drowning in responsibility. Tyler has a fever and the house is flooded. Some of us have real problems. Below it, a photo appears Joanna's ruined laundry room, Mom kneeling with towels, Dad moving furniture, the crisis that trumped my graduation. Again. I switch to Instagram where Mom has already posted. Family pulling together through another disaster. Monroe strong. Family first. 17 likes already, including Mrs. Peterson from church who comments, your family always shows what true support means. I silence my phone as someone slides into the seat beside me. Those better not be tears on graduation day, Ellie says, nudging my arm. My coworker from the real estate marketing firm adjusts her camera strap. I promised you professional photos, and puffy eyes are not professional. Just tired, I lie, blinking rapidly. Double shift yesterday. Defending your thesis while working 50 hours a week would exhaust anyone. She studies my face. Empty chairs? I nod, swallowing the familiar ache. Their loss, she says simply. Then, with deliberate brightness, wait till you see your apartment. The paint dried perfectly. The mention of my new Placia studio on the east side of town sends a warm current through my chest. The lease I signed last week represents 12 months of double shifts and meticulous saving. Mom's voice had been sharp when I told her, "Moving out now is financially irresponsible, Callie. We need your help with Joanna's children this summer." The dean steps to the microphone and the ceremony begins. When they call Callie Elizabeth Monroe, Professor Hartman cheers as promised. Ellie whistles between her fingers. My supervisor from the marketing firm stands and applauds. 3 people who've known me less than 2 years showing up while my family of 25 handles another Joanna crisis. Afterward, my new friends insist on taking me to lunch. I check my phone once 3 missed calls from Mom, likely updates on the washing machine saga before turning it off completely. To boundaries, Ellie toasts, raising her glass. To saying no without apologizing adds Marcus, my mentor from work who recognized my design skills when I was still answering phones at the front desk. To empty chairs that make room for better people, says Carmen, my neighbor who understands family toxicity from her own experience. The fear that's shadowed me all morning that no one would witness this milestone dissolves into something lighter. For the first time, I don't rush to finish a celebration because someone else needs me elsewhere. 3 weeks later, my apartment became my sanctuary. Modest but entirely mine, with plants on every windowsill, and no permission needed to hang pictures. I established small rituals impossible in my previous life: uninterrupted morning coffee, Saturday yoga classes, evening painting sessions with music playing softly. The voicemails still come. Tyler really misses his Aunt Callie. Mom needs help organizing the garage this weekend. Joanna's anniversary dinner needs planning, and you're so good with details. I listen but no longer rush to respond. The physical distance creates space to breathe, to recognize the pattern for what it is. Each ignored call strengthens something in me that had nearly disappeared. On my actual birthday, not the family celebration always scheduled around Joanna's convenience me, chosen family arrives with homemade cake and thoughtful gifts. We play board games until midnight, laughing without watching the clock. The next morning, an embossed envelope arrives in the mail. Inside, a glossy brochure for Long Beach and a formal note in Mom's handwriting, for Callie's 25th birthday celebration of family vacation. My fingers tremble as I read the details. 1 week at the beach, all expenses paid. Mom and Dad, Joanna, Mark, and the kids. And me expected to share a room with the children. When my phone rings with Mom's special ringtone, I answer. "Did you get it?" She sounds genuinely excited. "We've been planning for months." "It's very generous," I manage. Joanna picked the resort. The kids are beyond excited to have Aunt Callie with them for a whole week. Of course, the pieces click into place. Not a gift-a-trap disguised as generosity. 7 days of built-in childcare while Joanna and Mark enjoy the beach. "I'll need to check my work schedule," I say, buying time. After we hang up, I open my laptop. The Sedona retreat website loads immediately. I visited it so often the page is bookmarked. Serene red rocks, guided hikes, meditation sessions. Everything I've saved for over 6 months. "Time to choose," I whisper, my cursor hovering over the Book Now button. Behind the fear lurks something stronger, something that's been growing since those empty graduation chairs. I click. At the present, at the airport, I clutch my boarding pass so tightly my knuckles turn white. 2 tickets, 2 destinations, 2 lives. One visible to my family standing ahead in the security line, the other hidden in my phoneme real escape. "Callie, hurry up!" Mom waves impatiently, her diamond tennis bracelet catching the fluorescent airport lights. "We'll miss pre-boarding." I swallow hard, watching them, Mom, Dad, Joanna, her husband Mark, and their children Tyler and Megan, me, picture-perfect family, who never quite managed to include me in the frame. 25 years of being invisible ends today, I whisper. My carry-on feels heavier than it should. Inside, beneath the layer of beach clothes they expect me to pack, lies my real vacation. Hiking boots, trail maps, and a guidebook to Sedona's vortexes. The secret way to freedom. Dad checks his watch for the third time in 5 minutes. Callie, what's the holdup? The line's moving. I step forward, my heartbeat thundering in my ears. Each movement feels choreographed, rehearsed during sleepless nights when I planned this escape. I hand my ID and visible boarding pass to the TSA agent, smiling just enough to appear normal. Not too happy, not too nervous, just a woman going on vacation with her family. The agent waves me through. Mom fusses with her carry-on as we collect our belongings on the other side. Tyler, put your shoes back on. Mark, can you help Megan with her backpack? The family circus continues while I stand slightly apart, checking the time on my phone. My real flight to Sedona boards in 40 minutes from Terminal C. Their flight to Long Beach leaves from Terminal A. I need to use the restroom again. I feel sick all of a sudden, I announce, my voice steadier than expected. Joanna rolls her eyes. Now, we should get to the gate. I'll meet you there. I keep my tone casual, unremarkable. Gate of 14, right? Dad nods, already turning away, herding the others forward. Don't take too long. I won't. The lie tastes sweet on my tongue. I watch them walk away, a tight knot of activity and noise. They don't look back, not once. It strikes me suddenly they've never really seen me, so why would they notice my absence until it's too late? I count to 60, then turn and walk in the opposite direction. Each step carries me further from 25 years of disappearing. My pace quickens. Terminal C, Gate C22. Freedom. The moving walkway hums beneath my feet. Overhead signs blur as I pass beneath them. My phone buzzes in my pocket probably, Mom wondering where I am, but I don't slow down to check. The Sedona gate appears ahead, red rock formations displayed on digital screens above the seating area. My hands tremble as I pull out my real boarding pass, the one they don't know exists, purchased with vacation days I saved while working overtime. Boarding pass, please. The gate agent's voice cuts through my thoughts. I hand her my phone. The scanner beeps, accepting me. Enjoy your flight to Sedona, she says, already looking past me to the next passenger. Finding my seat by the window, I stare at the tarmac beyond the glass. My phone buzzes again, then again, then again, a barrage now. They've realized. I picture them at Gate of 14. Mom checked her watch, glancing toward the terminal entrance. Joanna huffing about inconsideration. Dad called my name through the crowded gate area. Tyler and Megan arguing over window seats that won't matter because I won't be sitting beside them. I turn my phone over, watching the screen light up with messages. Mom, where are you? We're boarding. Joanna. Seriously, Callie? The kids are asking for you. Dad, call immediately. Mom, this isn't funny. Joanna, you're ruining everything. The manipulation is so obvious now that I'm beyond its reach. Joanna weaponizes the children. Mom's panic disguised as concern. Dad's authoritative command. My fingers hover over the screen. What I say next will change everything. There's no going back. I type, I'm not going with you. I'm taking a vacation for myself. My thumb hesitates before adding, please respect that. The plane begins to push back from the gate as I switch my phone to airplane mode 10 minutes later. Through the window, I watch airport workers guide our aircraft toward the runway, their orange vests bright against the concrete. For the first time in my life, no one knows where I am or what I'm doing. No one is waiting for me to take care of their children, listen to their problems, or fade into the background of their lives. The engines roar as we accelerate down the runway. My stomach drops as the wheels leave the ground, but something else rises in me, something unfamiliar yet welcome. Hope. As the plane banks toward Arizona, I press my forehead against the cool window glass and allow myself a single, genuine smile. Have you ever had to choose yourself over family expectations? What was your airport moment? Share in the comments below. A few days later, the knock comes at 7:30 in the morning. 3 sharp raps that echo through my apartment like gunshots. I pause, coffee mug halfway to my lips. The Sedona sun left its mark on my skin, a golden tan that feels like armor. 5 days of hiking red rock trails and sleeping without my phone nearby transformed something fundamental inside me. The knocking grows more insistent. I set my mug down and move toward the door, my bare feet silent against the cool laminate flooring. Through the peephole, I see them, Mom and Joanna, faces tight with righteous indignation. I open the door but remain planted in the threshold, one hand still on the doorknob. I don't invite them in. "Where have you been?" Mom demands, her voice pitched higher than normal. "We've been worried sick." Joanna stands slightly behind her, Tyler and Megan noticeably absent. Her eyes are red-rimmed, mascara slightly smudged. "You ruined our vacation," she says, voice quivering with what anyone else might mistake for genuine hurt. "The kids cried every night asking for Aunt Callie." I breathe in slowly, remembering the desert air, the vastness of the sky at night. "I told you I wasn't going to Long Beach. I sent a text before takeoff." One text. Mom's diamond tennis bracelet catches the morning light as she gestures wildly. "After we paid for your ticket. After we included you in our family vacation." "How could you be so selfish?" Joanna pushes forward. "We had to change all our plans. Dad had to take the kids to the beach while Mom and I shopped. It was a disaster." The familiar weight of guilt presses against my chest, but something new pushes back clarity. "I'm not your babysitter," I say, my voice steady. "I'm your daughter. I deserve a life too." Their mouths fall open in perfect synchronization. In the stunned silence that follows, I notice how Mom's eyes dart to Joanna, checking her reaction before forming her own. "Let me show you something." I step back, retrieving a leather-bound journal from my kitchen table. I don't invite them across the threshold. I've kept track of every hour I've watched Tyler and Megan over the past 2 years. Unpaid childcare, 473 hours. Mom flinches. "Family helps family, Callie, that's what we do." "Really?" I open to a different page. Dad gave Joanna $36,000 for her wedding, $18,000 for a house down payment. Meanwhile, I got $5,000 total for college and had to work night shifts to make up the difference. "That's different," Joanna interjects. "I have children, I have responsibilities." "So do I." To myself. Mom's face shifts slightly, something like recognition flickering in her eyes. "You've always been so independent," she says, but her voice lacks conviction. "We thought you didn't need." "Stop." My hand rises between us. I was independent because I had to be. No one taught me, no one helped me. Joanna's face flushes crimson. "This is ridiculous. You're acting like we've abused you or something. We're your family." "Yes, you are," I nod. "And I want us to have a healthier relationship, but that means things have to change." "Change how?" Mom asks, suddenly wary. "No more surprise visits. Call first and wait for me to agree before coming over. No more volunteering for childcare without asking. No more family vacations designed around me watching the kids while everyone else relaxes." Joanna makes a strangled sound. "You can't dictate terms to us. Who do you think you are?" "I know exactly who I am now," I say, surprised by the calm in my voice. "The question is whether you want to know me too." Mom's hand reaches for the doorframe, steadying herself. For the first time, I see uncertainty in her eyes, the uncomfortable recognition that she might have missed something important about her younger daughter. "Your father should hear this," she says finally. "Where is Dad anyway?" I ask. The silence answers my question. Dad, as always, has opted out of the difficult conversation. "If you want to rebuild our relationship, I'm open to family therapy," I say. "But my boundaries aren't negotiable." Joanna shakes her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. "This isn't you, Callie. You've changed." "Yes, I agree. I have." Mom looks between us, torn for perhaps the first time between her daughters. The scales that have always tipped in Joanna's favor hover briefly in balance. "We should go," she says finally, her hand finding Joanna's elbow. We all need time to think. I nod, not trusting myself to speak again. As they turn to leave, Mom pauses, looking back with an expression I can't quite read. Your tan suits you, she says softly. I close the door gently and lean against it, listening to their footsteps fade down the hallway. My heart hammers against my ribs, but my hands are steady. The morning sunlight streams through my window, catching dust motes that dance in golden suspension. 25 years of invisibility, and finally they see me. My East Portland apartment catches the morning light in a way my childhood bedroom never did. Sunbeams dance across the second-hand furniture I've arranged precisely as I wanted, not as someone else dictated. 1 year since the airport, since I chose Sedona over family obligation, and this space has become truly mine. I dip my brush in cadmium yellow, adding highlights to the oak tree in my painting. The same tree from my childhood backyard, the one from my blue ribbon watercolor that never found wall space in my parents' home. Now it commands the center wall of my living room, surrounded by smaller canvases documenting my healing journey. My phone vibrates against the coffee table. Mom? Hi, sweetheart, she says, her voice carrying that new hesitancy. Just checking if you're still coming to dinner Sunday. Yes, I answer, setting my palette down, but I'll need to leave by 7 for my Spanish class. The silence that follows speaks volumes. A year ago, she would have pushed, would have insisted family trumps evening classes. Today, she simply says, we'll eat at 5 then. Small victories taste the sweetest. My therapy journal sits open beside me, today's entry still drying. Family doesn't have to mean sacrifice. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're necessary. Dr. Calloway helped me understand that my value wasn't tied to my usefulness. Your sister learned early that crying got her needs met. She'd explain during our 3rd session, you learned that being invisible kept you safe. Last week, Joanna cornered me after dinner. You never babysit anymore, she accused, arms crossed tightly. The kids miss you. Instead of apologizing or offering alternatives, I met her gaze. I'd love to plan something with Tyler and Megan. How about the Children's Museum next Saturday? 2 hours, just the 3 of us. Her face had registered shock, then calculation, then grudging acceptance. Fine. My father watches these exchanges with newfound awareness. During our monthly coffee meeting, she's suggestion, surprisingly, he admitted something I never expected to hear. We didn't treat you fairly, he said, stirring his Americano. I see that now. The words arrived 30 years too late, but I accepted them anyway. Some healing happens in fragments. I rinse my brushes in the sink, admiring how the colors swirl and separate, like my life now distinct elements coexisting without blending into muddy obligation. My calendar hangs by the refrigerator, marked with bold letters, Vancouver Island, Massachusetts Y12 to 19. My second solo vacation, planned openly, funded entirely by me, no secret boarding passes. No pretending. I check the time and grab my yoga mat. Tuesday evening class starts in 40 minutes. You seem lighter lately, Marissa told me last week as we rolled out our mats side by side. We'd met in that same yoga studio 6 months ago, forming a friendship based on mutual respect rather than shared history or obligation. I am, I'd replied, realizing the truth in those words. At the community center where I volunteer, young women gather weekly. Some share stories that mirror my own sisters perpetually in shadows, parents who gave elsewhere while taking from them. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm, I tell them, words I wish someone had offered me decades earlier. I think about another family dinner. There will be tension. Joanna's resentment simmers beneath polite conversation. Mom tries but slips occasionally into old patterns. Dad watches everything with quiet regret. But I'll arrive with clear boundaries and leave when I need to. I'll hug Tyler and Megan on my terms, not as their designated caretaker. The woman who stands in my bathroom mirror bears little resemblance to the girl who trembled at that airport security line. Her shoulders rest easy. Her eyes meet her own reflection without flinching. I don't know if we'll ever have a healthy relationship, but for the first time, I'm choosing me, and that's enough.